Hello, everyone. I believe we are all doing fine today. Welcome to another session on Career Starter Series with 5 questions, where young professionals get to share about their career journey to inspire everyone out there. Yes, we've actually been on a long break, but we are back bigger and better. And our first guest, after a long break, I'm so excited for the person to share his or her experience. I'm not going to say much about the person. I will allow him introduce himself. One thing I would like to say is that I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the work he's doing. I'm proud of the impact he's making in our society. And I know that this is just the starting point. Okay, I will step aside now. So hi, JMB, how you doing?
Hi, Funke, I'm good.
Wow, great
I'm
to
very
have
well.
you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, despite all your
How are
busy
you?
schedule, like I was just like,
I'm telling you, I'm telling you.
wow,
I had to even ask somebody, please let me run upstairs and do
right?
this before I go
I,
downstairs. Nobody knows I'm actually here now.
oh
Nobody knows
wow,
I'm here. Yeah, nobody
wow.
must know. If not, they'll go
Nobody's
argue.
gonna know. They'll
HR.
just see the video. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So can
So
we meet
that's fine.
you? Can
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so my name is Joel Moses Babatunde, Joel Moses Babatunde. I'm a human resource specialist, and I also am a consultant. So I own a human resource consulting firm called DHR Consulting. Now, DHR Consulting is basically into trying as much as possible to see how we can ameliorate human condition. And by doing this, we want to change the narrative of HR and how HR is seen from the outside world. You see, people who haven't gotten, one thing struck me when I was having a conversation with one of my mentees that is currently in 200 level. She had a lot to say about HR. She was saying a lot of nasty things, yes, a lot of crazy things. And I asked her, have you ever worked before? Have you ever been in an office environment before? And she told me, no, she has never been there. And I'm like, you have this much to say about HR. So this is the perception people have about HR. I will not blame some of them. Some HRs actually have this figure of alpha and omega, yes,
yeah,
I am
true.
here. So whenever, in fact, some HRs, when they call you, if they ever call you to their office, you know that you're getting into a very big trouble. It's either you're getting sacked or you're getting queried or getting one question or the other, and that's one of the major things that we're trying to change. Try to see how we can change that narrative, how we can make HR as African as possible. I feel like we have a lot of copy and paste system in the HR industry. We just copied HR techniques and approaches from different countries, and we're trying to replicate it into the Nigerian workforce. And I feel like it's not going to work because every country has its own nature and character. And as such, we should try as much as possible to see how we can, marry that with the people that work in these spaces. So this is like the major thing we are doing at DHR. And one of the major things we are going to be doing is a program called HR Crunch. Now, HR Crunch is a program that, yes, so Funke is like deeply into it as our operations team lead. We are trying to break HR down to the barest minimum. So that's basically what I stand for any day, anytime.
I like the way you raised your hand up.
Yes, exactly.
It's signal allegiance to the cause.
Exactly. Every day, every time. Yes.
Oh, wow. That's really impressive. Well done. You're doing a good job, like I said, and your impact in the society, it can only get better. That's just
Thank you.
what I say. Okay, nice
Thank you very much.
JMB. I know him as JMB actually.
Yes, JMB, because my name is mouthful. It's quite mouthful because I like to be called Joel Moses Babatunde. So it's better you just call me JMB. So JMB is not just a nickname; it's also my name. So it's just.
Oh wow! That's really cool. Yeah. Wow, that's nice. So to our next question, what got you started in your career? Is it that you just had the interest, or you were all about the money, or you just felt like, oh, my skill actually matched this industry, I think I should, explore this space? Or is it all about making solutions or developing solutions in your country? What got you started?
Okay, so basically I would say for this question, I don't want to sound like a proper interview. We HRs now, we interview people.
Yeah, right. So let's make it interesting.
I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing it for money and all of that. My dear, you're doing it for money. Don't lie to me.
Money is important.
But money is very, very important. I always tell people, money is a major decider and a good motivation, trust me. But if I really, really wanted to do HR for the money, or if I wanted to do any career at all for the money, I think I would go into tech. I'm going to tech, like
you even look like a geek already. Like
yeah. A lot of people think I'm into tech, and I don't know one single thing in tech.
Oh wow.
Yes, I don't know anything in tech. So if I wanted to do it for the money, I would go there. So I would say that for this particular my interest in HR has to do with a cocktail of different things basically. So I have my passion one side. I have trying to profile a solution on one side, and I also have people skill on one side. To be very, very frank with you, I always say this, and I'll say it 100 times again. If I knew about HR, if I knew about human resource management, I wouldn't have studied political science that I studied in school.
Oh wow!
Trust me, I did well. At least I graduated. I tried. I did well. I liked it, right? Because right from when I was in school, from my primary school days, head boy, secondary school days, I was class rep all through. I was till SS2. Till SS2 when I became head boy, From there, I went to some vocational schools after secondary school. I was president in these different vocational schools. So it was just natural for me to want to study political science because I felt like what other course will help me, sharpen this skill that I have, right? And that was why I went to do political science, and it's not a problem at all. I didn't know about human resource management until I was in 300 level. It was in 300 level I fell in love with human resource management, and it started when I went for an interview at Elephant House. That's in Broad Street, Jobberman to be precise. See, I went in 300 level. I applied for a job. I wasn't supposed to apply because that job was open to only graduates. And somehow, I was invited for the interview, and when I got there,
that means you exceeded expectation for you to even plan
so
that place.
Let's meet you. I was like, okay, my name is Joe Moses Babatunde, and I'm a 300 level student of University of Lagos. And the guy was like, oh, okay, hold it right here. You're a 300 level student. So what are you doing here? I said, I should be asking you, what am I doing here? Because you invited me for the interview.
Exactly.
Yeah. So after my interview lasted for 1 hour 45 minutes. So he went from an interview to a mentoring session. I can never forget that day in my life because that was where I noticed, or that was where I was introduced to human resource management.
Because the guys started asking that role.
Yes. The guys started asking me some questions, and at the end of the day, him and his team, they came together to say, you know what, you're going to make a fantastic HR. And I'm like, okay, HR, I don't know what that is. Because then I was vice president of my faculty, putting all of these leadership skills together. So that was it. And I would say that if I didn't go for that interview, maybe I would have been doing something else.
Yeah.
Right? But when I discovered it, I started studying it. And that was where I knew that, yes, this is actually the profession for me. I have always loved leadership. I've always loved, to be in a space where I can influence people positively. And that's like the major thing that I took into HR. And it has been a very beautiful ride all the way, trust me. So for me, I would say, this life experience, so my people skill, and also the fact that I actually want to provide a solution. And I've talked about the solution that I want to provide when I introduce myself. So that is it for me, basically.
And I think you're already working in preparing that solution in your country.
Yes. Exactly. Trying as much as I can.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. So to the third question, what are the top 3 things that have helped you accelerate in your career? Top 3 things. I'm sure there are going to be a whole lot, but just share with us 3 things. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the major things that has helped me, accelerating my career is the number one for me was, I shared how immediately I knew about it, I started reading about it. Now, I felt madly in love with the profession to the extent that I read,
I love that catchphrase, madly in love.
yeah, madly in love with the
Wow.
profession, like madly in love. You see, people who are around me, they will always tell you that JMB makes HR so interesting. You want to become an HR.
Wow.
And it's just I don't do. Sometimes I don't do it consciously. It just comes out because I tried as much as possible to really immerse myself, into the profession, and that was because I read a lot of things. Oh my God.
Wow.
You don't want to know what I read. I read the ones that concerned me, the ones that didn't concern me. I registered, I subscribed to nothing less than 20 newsletters, which SHRM is part of it. A lot of newsletters. So I get newsletters every morning. Wow. So I read newsletters. So I know what is happening in the HR space in America as of today. I know what is happening in Argentina. I know what's happening, in different spaces. These are the things I will put together to see how I can. So this is like one of the major things, the fact that I read. So sometimes when I talk about reading, people are like, oh, you're talking about this thing too much. Yeah, not like I really, 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 really like reading that much. I love reading, yes, but I'm the kind of person that will survive a day without reading. It's fine. Yeah. Right? Not like some people that can't survive a day without reading. So, but then reading and trying to really, really fall in love. So for me, the first thing is falling in love with my career, falling in love with my profession. Because I asked myself one question: do you really want to do this? Yes, I really want to. Why not give it all? Yeah. Why not give it all? So 99.9% is not even accepted. It's not accepted at all. 100% and even more is what I'm actually trying to give to my profession, right? So that's one. And then two, I've done some, so this is more or less like a bit attached to the first point, and it's the fact that I've done one or two courses here and there. So these courses will also broaden your horizon. The fact that it will put you on the toe to also see how you can take exams, test you on these things, with CIPM is one of them, and the rest of it. So there's like one other thing. Now the last one, whenever I say it, people always laugh at me. Okay. And it sounded like I was running crazy. Now, it's no doubt that the HR profession is really sometimes can be very difficult to get into. Because it is yes, it requires a lot of years of experience. I mean, one of my mentees did so well in one job opening. He went for in fact, he got the job, but they've never seen him. So everything was just online, because of COVID and all of that. So when he went there physically, they started questioning him. In fact, at the end of the day, he didn't get the job anymore.
Questioning that what?
They were like, he's too young. And no, it's going to be what's it called now? It's going to be HR people who are 20 years, in fact, some of them 30 years older than him, that is too young, blah, blah, blah. It didn't really make sense to me, but these are like the vicissitudes that actually come with the HR profession. That's how I always tell people, the older, the better in HR. Right? The older, the better, yeah. So,
but I think at this point,
too young.
At this point, I think their HR needs to also start putting it out there that it's not about, there shouldn't be age limitation to this thing. So far, you can influence and to manage the set of people you're working with. You have the grit, you have the strength, you have the resilience to handle that task. I feel HR won't make anything bad.
Yes.
But I feel your friend could have performed better than who is older. Because so far you have the passion, you have the drive to get it done. Why not?
Yeah. I totally agree with you. And that's one of the major projects I'm going to be working on from October. Yeah, wow. So we'll be working on that from October, because I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. So, but then, because HR would really, really want you to have years of experience, that's the only way they feel like you can perform well. So I started something. Because I have read a lot, I needed somewhere to practicalize these things that I've read. So I have a book at home. So this book, really big book. So I create different companies. Today it can be a small scale company. Today, tomorrow to be medium, another day to be large. I'll put myself in as HR of the company. So I direct things. So I do that from morning till evening. Not all through, but then I go back from time to time. Okay, this person has this problem, comes to me and talk to me about it. So the day I got my first shot at HR, like my very, very first shot at HR, my boss was really surprised. Okay, so how did you now know all of these things? How did you, since you don't really have an experience, because I came in from sales and marketing industry into HR. Because I think when I left school, I had to do something now. I can't stay at home and say HR or nothing. Hunger will kill me.
I'm waiting for the HR job to come.
Hunger will kill me. So as someone said, I did what's it called? I did market sales. Although people in my office knew that this guy liked HR. So if they want to recruit for many roles like say driver, office assistant, they're just like, Moses, please go and interview those with their young people.
Wow.
So people knew that I loved it, but I had to do a job to get the
to survive at that moment.
So exactly, to survive, someone that is alive that will chase his dream.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, so basically, and that was it. So I create imaginary companies on a piece of paper and then put myself as the HR and deliberate on things. So when it was time for me to really, really do it physically, like do it with real humans, it wasn't a problem for me. I would say that's one of the major things that really helped me. So it wasn't just the books.
Like you were really prepared to take over any challenge at any point.
Yes, really.
That reminds me of something I said one time ago, that opportunities actually meet the prepared minds. If you're not prepared for a particular role, the opportunity, even if the opportunity comes to you, you would mismanage it because you were not prepared to handle that capacity.
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. So I could say that the first thing thing that helped you in your career, number one, is your passion, your drive for HR. Because you're madly in love with HR.
Really, really in love with HR.
Wow. So the second one has to do with learning, taking courses, knowing what's up in the industry. And you have to learn it. Yeah, this Sunday in my church, we had a career session, and Benga Titoye came around, and it was like, you need to understand, you as a worker, you need to understand things that are going on in your continent, in your country, in your industry, so that as a worker, you can, adjust your skill to the things that are happening. So when you said you subscribed to the newsletter in Argentina, in other countries, I was like, wow, this is impressive. I need the list. I need that 20 list so I can also subscribe.
Definitely.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, okay, so we'll go to our next
question.
So
that's one thing I always say. Okay.
No.
So that's one thing I always say. If you really want to join, because in every career, in every profession, there's always a 20% and an 80%. So 20% are the guys that are up there and really take decisions about everything. If you really want to join, you have to do a lot. You have to really do a lot. First, you have to prepare yourself to be globally minded. You don't have to just plan for Nigeria alone. So you must see things from different. So what if, for instance, you have maybe you are a consultant and then you have a client and you have to solve a problem in Argentina. You'll now be so lost because
because you were not familiarized with things that happened there. Yeah, true. And another thing is that there are things that happen in those countries that would actually affect their own country, Nigeria, on the long run. If you're not prepared for that change, it's just hit you unawares.
Totally agree.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. Like we've said a lot in this last question. People should better pick up those nuggets. Okay, to our next question. To our next question, if there is one thing you wish you learned earlier in your career, what would that be?
Well, there was one thing I wish I learned earlier. Okay, I think one thing is to be very honest, I think one of the major things would have been doing my CIPM during my NYCs. Yes, I would have done that then. I was joking with it that time, and then time passed and all of that. Trust me, because I always say it, except HR tech, or if you really want to do HR, whether strategic or generalist, in Nigeria, one of the major things that you would need is your CIPM certificate. If you don't have that CIPM certificate, trust me, a lot of people don't even trust you. They don't trust what you can do. Right? So that's like one of the major things I would have done. Every other thing that is humanly possible for me to do to help myself grow in my career, I have done it. I've tried it. I'm still working on it. I'm still doing some things. I'm still reading books. I'm still, meeting, because another major thing that people joke with a lot is mentorship. So I set out to reach out to some certain people, and sometimes mentorship is not a joke. So in as much as I know that, because I always say that a career is quite different from getting a job. Career you can career is building. You are building now, so you take time to really focus on the foundation, right? So one of the major integral ingredients that I really needed was to get a mentor, right? And I although one of them actually took me up to a complete year, before the person answered my DM. But today we are 5 and 6. The person wants to do like major projects in his place of work. He'll be like, oh, Moses, please, I need you to come, let's do this, let's do that. Yeah, so I've done every other thing that's humanly possible for me to accelerate and grow in my career. But one thing I think is a mistake that I made, that if I go back, I would love to change, is starting my CIPM journey earlier than now.
Wow, that's really good. So for young professionals out there, get to know the certification that is applicable in your industry and start off on time. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And do not underestimate the power of mentorship. It's actually very important. It's more than taking selfies with your mentor. It's way more than that. Okay, so our next question, which is the fifth one. Can you share a word with young professionals?
Yeah, to young professionals. So the thing is, let me first speak to people who might really, really love HR as much as I do and want to go into it. I would say any day, anytime, that if your career goal in HR is not to make the lives of people better, to make your company better than the way you met it, please, I beg you, I am actually begging. I can't even kneel down. Get away. Just go away from HR. Go and do something else. Trust me, a lot of people actually have passions for operations. It doesn't mean you are HR. It could be admin. It's not HR, right? As an HR professional, your number one duty is actually to make the life of people better and easier. So don't be the normal hiring and firing kind of book and shelf HR who the only thing they know how to do is just make people's life miserable. In fact, as a matter of fact, you are not just a mediator, you are also someone who should stand and fight for the rights of people. You're also someone who should educate your employees in case they don't know. Because there are a lot of people who are working in the confines of office spaces and they don't even know the Nigerian labor law. It could be one of your what's it called now? You could start something on it and start teaching people in your office space. Start teaching them what the labor law is. Trust me, it will go a long way in helping these people. So your number one assignment is actually to make the lives of people better. If you can't, please don't go there. Don't go close to each other. Yes, and to every other person, I don't know what career you might want to really build, but trust me. You see, one of the books that I've read that's turned my life around, has really, really turned my life around, is this book by Malcolm Gladwell. He was in my head right now. He talked about the 10,000 rule, outliers.
Okay, outliers, yeah.
Outliers.
Funny thing is that we are actually reading that book this month.
Okay, please.
Wow,
like I would want everybody listening to this, so please Go and read that book if you haven't
Yeah,
read it.
powerful book.
It will teach you, yes, it will teach you the importance of giving your career the time that it really, really needs. Everything that happens under the sun, everything that happens under the sun, nothing happens by chance. So things will definitely happen because someone is trying to make it happen. So nothing just stays on its own and just happen, right? So you won't achieve the growth that you actually envisage in your head, in your career, if you don't put in the work. If you don't put in the work. And here we're talking about career development and not getting a job. So if you want to really build in your career, fall in love with it, please. Like after you fall in love with it, you know, if you fall in love with a thing, you want to see it grow.
Exactly.
Fall in love with a thing, you want to nurse it, you want to water it. So you watering and nursing it is basically you going out of the way, out of your own way to see how you can enrich yourself, educate yourself, keep learning. An outstanding career person, an outstanding professional is a lifelong student of his craft. The day you ever get to the point where you feel like you know it all, just forget about it.
Exactly.
Can't do anything again. You can't grow again. So those would be my.
Wow. These nuggets are just hot. You're dropping it like it's hot. Wow, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. But before you go, I have one question for you, and that is a random question. You know, you said you switched from sales to HR, and I'm sure that there were lots of challenges. I know lots of people that are like, okay, I want to move from this industry to another industry. How can I do it? How can it be so easy for me to, you know, transition from one industry to another? So can you share your challenges and how you were able to overcome it briefly?
Okay, so to be very, very honest, switching from one career to another career is really, really hard. It's hard.
Especially when you don't even have the experience.
It's hard. It's hard. Now, these are the kind of things you face. First and foremost, you face people who are already in the industry feeling like, where did you come? I mean, you don't even know anything, you don't know. So you face those kind of people. You also face people who might be willing to help, you know, to show you around and all of that. But to say that it is not hard, I will only be lying to you. It is really, really hard. But there should be a reason why you are changing that career. And please, if the reason why you're changing that career is money, then I will tell you the very, very truth. The highest you can last, the longest you can last is 3 to 4 months or 1 year max.
Probation period.
I'm telling you, that will be you will run back to your former career, because I'm saying you might not even get it right in your first 1 year. You might not even get it right in your first, second year. You might not get it right. Trust me, you might not get it right. But the tenacity to want to do more, the tenacity to push harder, you will definitely get it right at some point. But getting it right as soon as possible, as fast as you want, it might not come that way. Sometimes you can be lucky. You see people like my mentor, Samuel Akinoto, he will tell you any day, anytime that he didn't find HR found him. He was just in school, strolling. At first, he didn't want to do it. He was like, what is this thing? Leave me. Now he's one of the best brains when it comes to HR in Nigeria and even in Africa. You understand? So you could be that lucky, HR or whatever career you're switching to find you, and then you will blossom in it. But for people who are like me, you will face a long time of drought. But I am begging you, for no reason should you quit your current job because you want to get another job.
True.
Especially if you are the one fending for yourself. If you are not an OBU, who are someone who is sending me money or her money, I am begging you, carry longer there. Stay there. And get it. Grow. Don't worry, be doing your normal marketing job or be doing courses in HR, right? Be doing your normal marketing job. Subscribe to newsletters in HR. Learn about HR. Apply for HR jobs until you get that breakthrough. And you might want to also start from an internship role. I mean, that's like the best way to start. So forget about the fact that, in my former role, I was earning 250 or 150, and now they're telling me 40K. This is one of the major prices you have to pay to switch to the next role. So, like something I always call the jumping monkey, monkey jumping the tree approach. You see, when the monkey is jumping from one tree to another, that monkey never leaves the old branch until he is very sure that it has held on to
the other one.
The next one before he jumps to the next one. So please, you should also go and learn from the monkey. That sounds right. Go and learn from the monkey to see how you can.
Sounding like the Bible. Go and learn from the ants.
From the ants. So go and see how they do it and see that it will only be madness if you leave the old one trying to, you will crash, you will fall. So please don't fall. That will be like my major advice to you.
Wow, thank you so much. Wow, a really exciting moment. Even me at the other hand right here, I've learned a whole lot. I know the next thing to apply regarding my career. I really appreciate your time, JMB, despite your busy schedule. I really do appreciate it. God bless you, really.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you everyone for joining us today.
As well.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Till we meet again, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you, JMB.
Yes, bye.
Yeah, bye.